something that's true, but it's the end of the state of Israel as a state constructed on discrimination, on racism, on ethnic cleansing, on expulsion of the indigenous inhabitants. Of course, we want to see the end of this
you
state.
wrap it up, as I say, it is the de-Zionization of Palestine. It's the end of Zionism's colonial enterprise.
Without question. And you know, one of the worst things about the two-state solution is that it preserves Zionism. That's actually what it does. It preserves Israel.
It does, but to me that's an academic argument because a two-state solution is not possible.
Well, indeed, if it were to happen, let's say...
It would preserve Zionism.
It would, and as such, it's undesirable anyway. So it's not, you know, where I'm coming from isn't from the place where, you know, I think a two-state solution would be a very good idea. I wish we could have a two-state solution, but it's not working. It's not, oh dear, so what are we going to do? We'll have to have a one-state. That was never my position, nor I believe should it be the position of any Palestinian, because the two-state solution does not favor Palestinians. It's actually the Palestinian solution. But we know that Palestinians have supported it, many still do, because it was one of those situations where, you know, something's better than nothing.
But Ghada, there's another reason. As I understand, as you know, I knew Arafat and the leadership very well, but my understanding was that another reason why they supported a two-state solution, with the unthinkable compromise, as you said earlier, we'll make peace with it with just 22% of our land, was the hope, and I know Ilan Pappy initially had this hope, that within a generation, a two-state solution would give both sides the comfort and would evolve into the one state.
Yes, and that's very good that you say that, because what you're saying is something very different from the proponents of the two-state solution as it is generally understood. The fact that a two-state stage could take place, not a two-state solution, but a two-state stage, is something that one can see no particular objection to. Because indeed, for all those reasons, people would get used to it, then they start to meet each other, then they start to become friends. But the point is, of course, the end result is a one state.
Ghada, I've said, and you've said, that a one-state solution would give Jews who are now Israelis and who wanted to stay in it, security and peace of a kind they've only dreamed about. Tell me why it is that you think Israelis and other Jews should have no doubts on that account.
Well, this is something that I have found very interesting, because it's really about the nature of support for Israel amongst Jews. The idea of Israel has taken such hold on the Jewish imagination, and not only Jews, Gentiles also, as you will know very well in your own life, in your own experience, how many non-Jews in the West are wedded, fascinated by the idea of Israel. Now, this is, I think, a problem that we have. As Palestinians, as Arabs, we don't really understand the nature of this attachment. We have often dealt with it in a very crude way. You know, we've often said these people are just thieves, they've come and they've stolen this land, and they're just common thieves, and you know, you have to punish them and so on. Of course, it's much more complex than that. It took me years, I'm not even sure that I fully understand it even now, but for years I grappled with the psychological backing, the psychological underpinning of the support for Israel, and it is considerable.
What can you say to convince Israelis and Jews everywhere that they would have wonderful security and peace of a kind they never dreamed of?
Well, I can give you a very short answer. There is nothing I can say along those lines, and I'll explain to you why. Because of the propaganda, because of the way it's taken hold, because the mythology has so taken hold, the mythology which says we have to be living together as a majority in this piece of territory in order to feel safe. Now, this contradicts experience, common sense, etc. Reality, we know very well that Israel is the unsafest place on earth for Jews. So, in fact, to come along with a one-state idea and say, look, You can be safe here because we have no quarrel with you anymore. So that is the essence of safety. Would be very difficult for them to accept or to believe. However, that does not mean to say that one would not do it even so, would not make the argument which says, because of your insistence on being a majority to the exclusion of others, because of the damage that you have caused to other people in order to do this, because of the hatred that you have provoked amongst your neighbors, you're totally unsafe. Safety lies in friendship. It lies in being good neighbors. It lies in affection. It lies in making friends with people.
And
now,
being part of the region instead of a colonial imposition.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, this is the thing about Israel, that it not only imposed itself on the region, but continued to see itself as an extension of the Western world. Of course, it doesn't see itself in the Middle East. I think it thinks it's in America or something. The only way this is going to happen is by a process of evolution and what I call incrementalism.
But Ghada, you can't have a one state by evolution.
Well, no. What I mean is the belief or the conviction or the change of mind will only take place when the whole discourse around the way you solve this problem changes. So when the people in Israel begin to be aware that there is a very large number of people, a consensus, which is talking about something quite different, not maintaining Israel as a garrison state, but saying, come on, you're human beings, you want to have a decent life. Well, we're trying to tell you this is the way you can have a decent life.
Well, let me build on that. That I believe, generally speaking, the Jews are the intellectual elite of the Western civilization, and that generally speaking, the Palestinians are the intellectual elite of the Arab world. It therefore follows to me that together in peace and partnership, in a one state, what they could do together is the stuff that real dreams are made of. They could change and develop the region. They could give new hope and inspiration to the world. So there is a great vision. There is a great prize, it seems to me. But I put it to you, this dream will never become a reality because nuclear-armed Zionism will never agree to put itself out of business or allow others to put itself out of business in order for there to be a one-state solution.
No, of course not. You're quite right. Since when did any colonial regime voluntarily lay down its arms and say, "That's right, I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be number one"? Of course not. It cannot happen like that. It won't happen like that. You know, my great fear about this is that it will happen, but not in the way that we want. It won't happen in an ordered, managed, sophisticated, adult, political way. It will happen by force, by chaos, by bloodshed, which will force the communities together.
All right, let me feed in just another input and then get you to really address that question. You see, what I sometimes wonder, if any Arab, including your very good self, can really have a deep enough understanding of what it is that really drives Zionism and why it might be unable as well as unwilling to accept the de-Zionization of Palestine. And I put it to you that Zionism's real position, unstated, but can be demonstrated by Israel's actions and policies, can be summarized as follows, and I've written this very short summary. This is Zionism, speaking the unspeakable. Jews can never trust Gentiles. Any doubts about that were removed by the Nazi Holocaust. So we Zionists had to provide a